When I first started my art journey, it felt like I was learning an entirely new skill. At this point, I had been drawing for years traditionally, so I thought the transition from traditional to digital would be a cinch. I mean, it can't be that difficult, right? It's only just drawing on a screen instead of paper. What I quickly found out was that there was a vast difference between drawing traditionally and digitally. Many a time I would sketch something on Clip Studio and think that whatever project I was working on looked pretty good. I'd feel that I was ready to go on to the line art phase. And after that I would delete the sketch layer and notice that my line art looked so boring, so bland, so bleak, so beige, so disappointing. Clearly, I still had a lot to learn in terms of art. Things like line weight, different painting textures, and form were crucial to a good art piece. Honestly, it was just a lot for a dude who just wanted to draw cute anime girls. As the days went on, whenever I would want to find time to draw outside of video games, I would spend hours on a piece only to buy into the trap of self-comparison and wonder why my art didn't look as good as artists I looked up to. Why did my art look so scratchy while others look so fluid and smooth? My art looks so nervous and unsure of itself while others look so secure, so proud, so confident. It's the line art. If only there was a way to train my brain to create more confident lines. This is what we call in the game a segue. Introducing Drawabox.com. What is Drawabox? Well, Drawabox is, and I promise I won't say Drawabox that many times in a short span for the rest of the video, is a website created by a team led by one man named Irshad Karim. On the official website, he says that he is a game designer with a lot of time and a lot of interest, who believed that the information he wanted to share was not as accessible as it could be. So he created this website, chock full of lessons and articles to help lowly artists like us, yes, us, to approach art in a way that we may not have thought of. I wanted to see what Drawabox had to offer, so for this video, I'm going to tackle Lesson 1, Lines, Ellipses, and Boxes. I highly recommend you go and visit the website yourself, because even though this video will be covering Lesson 1, there's still a lot you can learn from this website. And I'll purposely be leaving things out so you all had to go do the work for yourself. Another thing, it is also highly recommended that you take time off of your studies to draw something you find fun, to keep yourself from being burnt out. What I suggest is you study for at least 3 days a week, and by Friday you take what you learn and apply it to something that you like. Whether that be fan art or just anything else, I don't know. What do people do for fun nowadays? Anyways, for lesson 1, it's recommended that instead of drawing everything from your wrist or your fingers, instead, for long strides or curves, you should try drawing from your shoulder or your elbow. This sounds complicated, and honestly, I'm still trying to rewire my brain to even comprehend what that means, but it's not as complicated as it sounds. It really did help though. You see, while drawing with your hand gives you more control over small, concise lines, drawing with your shoulder and elbow gives you more control over long lines and curves you'd have on your canvas. If you focus more on drawing with your shoulder, then your lines will become smoother and more pleasing to the eye. This exercise can really build line confidence too. A lot of beginner artists tend to use scratchy lines in their art and it never looks right. Focusing on creating complete lines will not only make your art look better, it will also make the artist, that's you, look confident in their piece. And you should be confident in your art, even when it could have been way better or it's not as good as you thought it would be. It's still something you put time into to complete, and whether you realize it or not, you still learn something at the very least. Okay, I think that covers everything. Let's get into my attempts. For our first assignment, superimpose lines, you're tasked with creating a straight line. It's recommended that you create your first straight line with a line tool, but I forgot to do that. Then you take your hand, activate your shoulders, chest, and glutes, and draw over that line 8 times, as straight as possible. Repeat until the entire page is full. I like to have my page sectioned off for lines of different lengths. As you can see, I was really struggling with keeping my lines as straight as possible, which is normal at first, but later on into the study, your lines should get better and better. For our next assignment, you're supposed to do 1 full page of ghosted lines. And no, not ghosted like you on a Friday night. Ghosted as in, you take 2 points and draw a line connecting the 2. Yeah! On to assignment 3. For our next assignment, instead of doing ghosted lines, we're doing ghosted planes instead, which I promise you is a lot more interesting than the last assignment. Here, you create 4 dots and connect them to each other, but you aren't done just yet. Then you connect each corner line to each other and 2 lines in the middle, and like so, and you're done. This should conclude your first day of the assignment, though no one's stopping you if you feel like you can do more. Honestly, I suggest you just kind of study whenever you have the time, like when you're with friends or you're out at a supermarket, in the middle of the freeway, wherever you can. I think those mindless kinds of studies where you are preoccupied with something else can really build up your muscle memory, and you'll find you're better at drawing lines before you even realize. Today though, I stopped at 2 pages and rested up for day 2. It's day 2 and you can already see a massive difference between the lines I did on day 1. I feel like a very special boy, so instead of doing the normal amount of pages you were told to do, I decided to double the amount. There's really not much to say here. I'm basically doing the same thing I did yesterday. Something I did notice though, and I wanted to see if you noticed it too, take a second to look at my art, and look how I do these lines. Do you see it? Well, my lines are straight, a lot of them just curve up or down. I noticed with my phalanges and metacarpals, my fingers for you plebs out there, they tend to push downwards throughout my line. If you have this problem, be sure to take a mental note of it and work to fix it. I think a problem I have is I always draw my head at a slant, which isn't helping me draw completely straight lines. If I had recognized this during my studies, I would probably be able to remedy it. But I'm telling you this for all of you to make sure you're not just absent-mindedly doing your studies. Actually pay attention to what you're doing. But yeah, this concludes my work for day 2. I think it's time we move on to day 3. Here comes the final day. Day 3, give it up for day 3, woo yeah. Hey, so I'm held by law to allow myself to have fun every once in a while. So for the 3rd day, I decided to have a little fun with my studies. For this segment though, I'm just gonna put on some music in the background and speed up the process. Sort of like a speed paint. I'll see you guys afterwards. Hope you enjoy. Alright, here's my final piece of the week. Honestly, it was pretty fun, even though all I was doing was drawing lines. Again, if I were you guys, I would go to Drawabox.com and continue to do their assignments, because there are many assignments I skimmed over, like ellipse drawing. If you Sorry, thunder, hope you didn't hear that. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and or subscribe. There are more art and gaming videos to come in the future, so if you'd like to see me record these live, be sure to check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/goofy_. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.